Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Pretty Deep. We're so happy you're here.
Thank you for watching. I'm Petra.
And I'm your girl, Dajana. And today, I really wanted to start on a positive note. So I got these positive affirmation cards. I absolutely love them. So I just want you to pick one.
Okay.
And let's see what your message is for today.
Okay. I trust myself to make the right decision.
Wow.
Always try to be your best supporter. The true magic starts when you believe in yourself.
Oh, I love that.
There you go.
And that's beautiful because I feel like sometimes you do analyze your decisions like over and over and over.
This is perfect for me. I'm a huge overthinker, so
me too.
Makes sense.
Okay, let me pick one too.
All right.
Okay, I want this one here.
Oh, you picked two.
No,
you picked
this
three.
One. This one. If someone you care about needed encouragement, you would show support and faith. Then why wouldn't you do the same for yourself?
Oh.
Give yourself the same treatment you would give your best friend.
Wow.
I believe in myself.
Oh, I love that.
That's so cute.
Yay. What was that mine? Oh, I trust myself to make the right decision. You know what? I resonate with that one.
Yeah, these are really cute.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be a nice way to start on a positive note.
Yeah.
But today, I just thought we could maybe talk about all the pressure that women feel in society, especially after the age of 30. And I just think it's so unfair and so unnecessary for us to worry about everything so much. And I think we just need to let go and let God, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a huge pressure on women, especially women over 30, right? Because that's the time when you should have kids. I guess that's what people say. You should have kids. You should have a steady career. You should be in a marriage. You should have a house. So there is definitely more pressure on women than there is on men. Because men, they can make babies at any time.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You said women should, and then you said at least that's what they say that they should. And I know exactly what you mean because women should not do anything, right? Women should do whatever the fuck they want to do.
Amen.
And that's kind of where I stand with this whole thing. Especially when I go back to the Balkans, in our culture, it is unheard of to be over 30 and not married and not have kids. I mean, there are some women nowadays, but it's definitely not like in America. And I've been in situations where I wasn't sure if I wanted kids or not. And I was kind of leaning more towards no. And I will never say that again in the Balkans because I said it one time and people looked at me like I was absolutely insane. Like, you're so selfish. Like, what's the point of life? What's the point of anything if you don't have kids? And I just think it's crazy when people say it's selfish to not have kids, right?
Yeah, in my opinion, it's more selfish to be wanting to have a kid.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because a lot of women, a lot of people are thinking about their future, and they're thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna grow old, and nobody's gonna be there for me. Nobody's gonna take care of me, right? I think a lot of people are choosing to have a kid from that perspective. Not a lot, but I feel like that's what's in people's mind. And also, again, as a woman, I feel like there's a huge pressure on us to have kids, to experience how it is to be pregnant, to experience how it is to be a mother, right? When you look at the biology, the main purpose of a human being, meaning a woman, is to
procreate.
It's to procreate, right? Because that's our, I guess, job. But, evolution happened, and I feel like we're not same women that we were 30 or 40 or 50 years ago, when the only job for a woman was to be a mother, to be a housewife, to take care of a guy, to take care of her husband. So I think evolution did its thing, and we're at a different point now, so no, if you're not feeling like, if you don't want to be a mom, then do not be a mom just because somebody is assuring you that you have to experience that.
Yeah,
No.
I think it's more selfish to force things just because you want something so bad. Like, there are women out there who are like, I have to be a mother and I want to be a mother by the time I'm 35. She doesn't meet the right person, and then all of a sudden she brings a child into a very unhealthy environment because she wanted it that bad. But it's like, it's not about you. When you think about your future child, aren't you supposed to think about that child as well? And
that's all you should think about.
And what kind of environment you're bringing this child into versus like, oh, I'm gonna have a mini me, and it's not all, beautiful.
That's what I'm saying, that it's more selfish to me to be wanting kids rather than deciding, oh no, I'm not gonna have a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's like
I think I understand if people want them.
Sure.
But to what extent, and what are you willing to do for that?
Yeah,
and then there's also a lot of women that I know that I've come across in Los Angeles that have kids for stability. And so to me, that's the most selfish thing you can do.
That, or when couple have kids just to save that, in order to save their marriage.
Oh, that's another one.
How crazy is that? I'm allergic to that. When people tell me, oh, we're going to try to have a kid, maybe it will bring some happiness back to our relationship. That's like the worst thing that you can do.
It's the most selfish thing you can do.
Oh, it's the worst. So don't ever do that. I mean, that's just, I think in order for you to become a parent, either if you're a woman or a guy, you have to work on yourself first. You have to be a complete person. You have to love yourself. You have to work on all your traumas, because I feel like 99% of people on this planet have some kind of trauma. So once you achieve all of that, which is more important than achieving to have a house, to have a career, I think that's the biggest work that you need to do on yourself in order to become a parent. And I think parenting, I mean, I don't have a child on my own yet, but I think that has to be the hardest job.
Yes, of course.
To raise another human being, especially in the world that we're living today, especially now. So, once you're ready, once you feel 100%, and I know a lot of women say, oh, but I don't think I'll ever be ready. Or a lot of moms will tell me like, oh, I wasn't ready until I got my kid, and then you just have to be ready, right? Mm-hmm. I think you're never 100% ready, but I think you're more and more ready as you're in the right relationship with the right person.
That's what it is.
And I think, once you have your person, and I know a lot of women who were telling me like, oh, I don't want to be a mom, but I also knew that they were not in a happy relationship. And then as soon as they met their person, the right guy, they're like, oh, maybe I should have a child now.
Yeah, they say you want everything with the right person. Yeah. So you can be that person that's in a relationship and you're like, well, I'm not sexual at all. I can have sex once a month and not care. Mm-hmm. And then you talk to the same person who's with somebody else, and you can't recognize them anymore because now they're having sex 3 times a day. And not just the first 6 months, like later on too. So it's kind of interesting how that right person will make you want to do everything, and all the things that you thought that you may not want to do, or like even
not just being a parent, just
everything else
succeeding in everything in life, right?
Yeah. So I just I've been seeing lately this kind of like movement on Instagram, like childless by choice, and all these women, just choosing to stay childless. And then it's almost like always a debate. There's going to be a reel, and I just saw one the other day, and it was a couple, and they were laying out on this beautiful beach, and they just wrote, what our vacations look like without children. And then it's like a million comments from parents defending their decision. Being so triggered, saying, I do the same thing with my kid. And then the childless people are like, no, you're not. You're miserable because your kid is jumping all over and you gotta, watch them. So everyone is arguing, and to me, it's fascinating when people tell you what you should do. Like, to me, that's always been the weirdest thing. And it doesn't even matter about my age. Like, I've always, at 21, I was the same as now in this sense where I knew what I wanted and I didn't want in certain situations. So, for example, I knew I wanted to move to LA before I've ever been to LA. I was literally my early 20s, and no one can tell me what to do, what not to do. And if people are like, well, LA is a dangerous place, or what are you gonna do out there? Are you gonna, lose your soul, or you're gonna lose yourself? I don't care.
Nothing could have stopped you.
Nothing could stop me. So I just think it's fascinating when people tell you what to do, especially if it has to do with having children. Like, hey, you're 31, so you need to have a kid right now. You better have a kid right now.
But I'll tell you one thing. I think people who dare to tell you that, I think those are the most miserable and unhappy people. Mm-hmm. Because if a person is happy and satisfied, they will never give you that comment.
Yeah, but it could be your parents, for example.
Well,
and then
most of the time is your parents.
And that's
right?
when my question back to them is, oh, so are you going to take care of this child?
But it's also selfish from them, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because they want to be a grandparents.
Yeah.
They want to experience a little baby again, and of course they want to see you happy, and maybe they know how much that baby will make you happy, and all of. But I think it also comes from selfishness, even from your parents.
Yeah, I think the best parents just want happiness for their children. That's all it is. Without conditions, without telling them what they should do, without forcing anything on them, marriage, children, career. Like, if I ever have children, I'm just going to be happy for my child as long as my child is happy. I will not go into, you should do this and you should do this and you should do that, because first of all, when someone's telling you constantly what you should do, you literally want to do the opposite of that.
Especially if you're a parent, and especially if you're telling that to a child. The child's going to be a little rebel.
So let me tell you what happened to me, and this is one of the craziest things a man has ever said to me in my entire life, okay? So I'm in the Balkans. I won't say which country because we're not trying to make people angry, but very similar. It may be Bosnia, it may be Serbia. Or Croatia. And I just met this guy, right? And he started liking me a lot, very quickly, just coming up way too strong. And I think I was about 31. Yeah, I was 31 when I met him, and he's like, yeah, you should get married, you should have kids, kind of like telling me he should be the one that I should do that with. And I was like, calm down, we just met, I don't live here, I live in Los Angeles, I'm just here for the summer. And he's like, well, if you don't, and this guy was a doctor, by the way, and he tells me, oh, if you don't have kids, it's like it's like a dog. It's like a female dog. The dog that doesn't have kids usually gets some kind of ovarian cancer or breast cancer. So it's the same for women. If you don't have kids, you're going to have some kind of cancer and die, because your main purpose in this life is to have a child.
That's what I just said earlier. Yeah. That's how people, especially scientific people, scientists, that's how they look at it.
I literally looked at him and I'm like, if you were the last person living on this earth, I would not have a child with you. Like, this is
so he
disgusting.
he wanted a child with you?
Well, he was kind of convincing me.
Seeing a bright future.
Yeah, he frightened me saying that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And just to think that there are people out there that think that is beyond me.
Yeah,
it's beyond me.
And it's usually men.
It's usually men. And what I want women watching this to know is that you don't have to do anything. I just want that to be very clear. The best place in life to be is in a state of surrender, and that takes so much pressure off of everything. And there's so many options today. Like, if you are set on being a mother, but you haven't met the love of your life yet, and you're 38 or 35, you will meet that person maybe later in life. Go and freeze your eggs. We have that option now. And then women will say, well, it's too expensive. Well, book a flight. I know in Serbia, it's 2,000 euros. You can get a flight. You can get a flight for $600 off season. You could get an Airbnb for about $600 for 2 weeks. There you go. Save up $3,500 and go and freeze your eggs.
So it's about 7,000 here?
Here, that's like a very low end. You know,
Whoa.
people in America are paying. I just had a friend tell me that she paid 8,000, and then another one who paid 15,000 here in Los Angeles.
Wow.
I'm sure somewhere else in America it might be a little cheaper, but not much cheaper.
Wow.
So this is an option for everyone.
Sure.
Go and do it. Go and freeze your eggs. Like if you are sure you want to have children. For me, I never particularly wanted to force life. I think the scariest place to be is living in fear and forcing things to happen. And that's how you end up in bad relationships and in bad situations. Like,
So, but what do you say about the women who are trying to get pregnant and nothing is working for them? Natural pregnancy doesn't work. IUI doesn't work. The only
IVF?
option they have is IVF, and they really want to become a parent.
so do IVF.
So you're not against that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not
I
against
thought
that.
you are when you said I'm not encouraging forcing anything.
No, I'm saying forcing in a way like you have a man that you know is bad for you, but you're 38. So your time is
gotcha.
running out.
Okay,
So
so-
you're gonna force it and be like, you're gonna ignore
Settle.
all the red
Yeah.
flags, and you're gonna be like, it's okay, he's gonna be a good dad. I'm not gonna see all the red flags because I'm 38 years old. So now I'm
Sure.
gonna have a child with him, and now this child's gonna grow up in a horrible environment, and that's what I mean with forcing life.
Got
I
it.
mean, of course, if someone wants to be a parent, they have an amazing partner. Try everything.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
and if it's still not working, surrender. Maybe you're not meant to be a parent this life.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
And there's always an option, even if IVF doesn't work, there's an option of adoption too.
Would
which
you
is a
ever-
beautiful thing.
Would you ever adopt?
Well, yeah, if I won't be able to have my own child, I would definitely adopt.
Would
a
you
baby. Yeah.
adopt on top of having your own children? Like you have your own and adopt?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
I think I would.
Yeah.
Depending on how successful I am.
Yeah.
But I just went to an orphanage in Bali. I think you saw that video.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful just to see how little those kids wanted. All they wanted was time and love. And we would, just sit there and talk to them and play with them. And they were so happy. And there's this little boy, I think he was maybe 1.5 or 2. He could barely walk. And we all wanted to adopt him. I was like, oh my God. And
yeah, maybe. I'm not at that point yet. I'm still not thinking
Right.
about children and, maybe down
well,
the
you
road.
better be, girl, because you're
I'm
31 years old.
Yeah, I think it's time. Well, if you ask my mom, it's been a time for the past 7 years. Longer. So, no, for sure.
You're going to
we'll
get
see.
cancer and die if you don't have kids. So
Damn. We do not want that, for sure.
can you believe he said that to me? I'm still...
Yeah.
It's funny, you forget certain things, and then when you start talking about them, you remember.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he was wrong about that. I'm sure there is some scientific research behind that,
All right, let me ask ChatGPT.
Where is he?
Yeah.
I think I'm sure there is some scientific research. Same with the animals. I remember having a dog, and a female dog, 10 years ago, and we were thinking about neutering her.
Yeah.
And the vet said, oh, it's the best for her to have 1 or 2 births before you neuter her.
That's true.
So she can kind of clean herself out. I don't know exactly he said.
Yeah.
But for that reason, so she doesn't develop any cancer or anything like that. So I think it goes same for a woman as well. I'm sure he didn't say that. Just he's a doctor, obviously.
Yeah.
He's probably a smart guy. So. But it's a stupid thing to say to somebody. You know, if you're not his patient and you're not asking for medical advice, for him to say that, and you just start kind of seeing each other, that's freaking insane. That's no. It's really insane.
It's so funny.
So yeah, I don't know. Let's see how it goes. In my opinion, in my experience, I would love to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom. I mean,
So you knew from day one?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be a mom ever since I was 21 or 20 years old.
Oh, okay. Well, that's...
Yeah.
Some people say they knew since they were little.
Yeah. But then going back to those selfish reasons why a woman or why a couple would want to have a child, I'm asking myself, oh, am I being selfish by wanting a child? But I'm like, no, I really want to bring another human being into this world.
Without generational trauma.
Without generational
passing
trauma.
that on.
Yeah, and I really want to, like, I can't wait to see how my baby's going to look and how I'm going to create this human being. It's just wow for me to even think about that. But yeah, I want to pour as much as love I can into that human being and into that being. And, it's like, I think, I do have that instinct. Some women don't, as we said, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Women are not born to just be mothers.
Yeah.
Like, there's other things in life, and if you want to focus on your career and money and your relationship or whatever, then you should do that.
Yeah, but that's when you'll get comments like, oh, have fun being in your 40s depressed with 20 cats.
Yeah. I know. But again, the person who's gonna make that comment, it's a miserable person.
Yeah.
You know what I
Nice
mean?
people don't leave comments like that, or don't even have time.
Happy people do not leave. Happy people, they will never tell you that because they're happy.
And they don't have the time to be sitting there, keyboard
it's usually
warriors.
Trolls on internet, and writing nasty ass comments. So no, screw that. Just you do you and do whatever you think it's good for you and it's good for your soul and body and
and trusting in God's timing.
Yes.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong if you don't have children in this life.
Absolutely.
I said this before and I'm going to say it again. I really believe that we live multiple lives. I've seen it.
Wait, I have a deja vu.
I've seen it in ayahuasca experiences. I've seen it in meditations. I've seen it when I left my body at 16 years old, when I had an out-of-body experience. And if you don't have kids in this lifetime, you will in another one. It's really not that big of a deal that we make it, and it's just programming from society. Oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. By the time you're 25, you have to be done with college. By the time you're 30, you have to be married. By the time you're 35, you better have 2 kids, especially as a woman. By the time you're 40, you better have a nice home. And it's just ridiculous. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do anything. Just live your life and be happy. Life is hard enough. Why put all these extra pressures on ourselves and expectations that really don't serve us at all?
Yeah.
I think the older I get, I really believe that the most luxury thing you can have in life is peace in your soul and just happiness. Mm. And you can have 10 kids and not be happy. You can have $5 billion and not be happy. What's more precious is the state of being, the happiness that you feel. Yeah. And I know that if I'm happy, if I wake up and I, go through my list of what I'm grateful for and just have that peace in my soul, I can take over the world. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. 100%.
So we can leave you guys with that.
That's beautiful.
Just be happy and be proud of yourself, because we all do this thing called life together. And Buddha did say life is suffering. So for some people, I know it's not easy, but we can do this together.
Yes, we can.
Thanks for watching.